class. Today we are going to be learning about force, motion, and energy. So this morning I gave you this sheet to fill out. It's a little foldable. So now I'll pull this out and we're going to complete it. So this is your title page. So write force, motion, and energy. And make sure you include your name because that's most important because you will all have the same exact thing. So first of all, the first word we're going to learn is motion. So motion is a change of position. So if I start over here and then I go over here, I just changed my motion. So that's what motion means. So I want you to draw a picture in this extra area of motion. Whatever it could be, whatever you might want, if it's someone jumping or riding your bike, whatever that could be for you. The next word is speed. So label speed, and then speed is the change of position over a period of time. So the formula for that is distance traveled divided by time. So with that, you're going to put distance traveled, so it could be in miles or kilometers, and then the time, it can be in minutes and seconds. So you know on like a car radar how it says miles per hour? So that's what the speed is measuring. The next word is force. It's a push or pull. So when I push on this wall, I'm putting force on this wall. So the greater the force, the greater the change in motion will be. So if I was to put a lot of force, I probably couldn't knock this wall down, but it's possible because I'm adding a greater force onto it. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. So the more mass of an object, the less effect a given force will have on the object. So again, this wall, since it is so massive, it will not, the effect of force will not be as great because I cannot knock this wall down. So the next is, I'm kind of giving you a definition of gravity and force. So the force of gravity between two objects depends on the mass of the object and the distance between them. So it depends on the distance between them and the mass, so the amount of matter in an object. So the definition of gravity is the force of attraction or pull between two objects. So you know how you always hear when something comes up, it always has to come down. So that's what gravity is referring to. So friction is a force that works against motion. So I want you to put your hands together and I want you to rub them. And keep rubbing them, keep rubbing them, keep rubbing them. Do you feel heat on your hands? That's because friction, because object A and object B are working against each other, so we're creating heat. So that is what friction means. So the resistance to motion created by two objects working against each other. So we just created friction by rubbing our hands together. The next definition is kinetic energy. So the energy of motion is what kinetic energy means. So the faster an object moves and the greater its mass, the more kinetic energy it has. So going back to kinetic energy, the bus and a car are racing each other. So the bus is bigger, it's full of 20, 30, 40 people, so it has a lot more mass in it compared to a little car that can only hold 4 or 5 people. So if they're going the same speed, the bus is going to have more kinetic energy because it's massive. It's bigger than the little small car that only holds a few people. So that is what kinetic energy is. So I left this space at the bottom for some notes. So as we review, I want you to write down what you think the definitions are as we were going through them. So the first one, motion, change of position. The second one, speed, change of position over time. The third one, force, a push or a pull. Number 4, mass, amount of matter in an object. 5, gravity, a force of attraction or pull between all objects. Number 6, friction, a force that works against motion. And 7, kinetic energy, the energy of motion. So don't forget the formula for speed, distance traveled divided by time. So tomorrow, when you come to class, be prepared to do an experiment with these definitions that we just learned. And make sure you bring your booklet so that you can use it to refer to the definitions as you're working through it. So thanks for listening, class, and make sure if you need to go back and review anything you do, make sure you have all the definitions written down and an image for motion. Thanks, class, and have a good day.